what the problem is. So here's a pie chart of my defensive mapping, those three Ornivian groups. And you can see how much of the withdrawing energy, the gray, that I had. Right, 19, 12, and 19%. So I really need to integrate more of this assertive. See the small slices on the assertives? 3%, 5%, 6%.
But how do you do that?
How do I do that?
Yeah.
I do nothing. That's
no,
all.
I mean, no. How do you integrate?
Well,
I mean, what?
I have to kind of, it's just like doing exercise. You know that inertia that you feel?
Yeah.
Well, you have to do what it takes to do it, And I find that if I move from my own authority, I'm okay. But I don't like being directed by other people. For instance, this type of work, I love it. I can do it all day long. I can get these workshops from now until the cows come home and never feel tired doing it. But if somebody else is trying to, you better do it this way, or, that authoritarianism, I bristle for thought. I need to have my own inner motivator. And I think that's what it is, listening to my own gut energy, not to somebody else's, but to my own. For instance, I find now doing exercise, I had a heart attack last September, and had to do exercises ever since. I always hated exercise. But I found that I started doing my own intuitive exercise. In other words, I let myself think, well, what kind of exercises do I think I need? And then I just started doing it. I didn't watch any videos or go to anybody else. I started listening to my own authority, and that worked for me. I'm doing this exercises every day now, and I enjoy it because it's motivated from my own gut center, not from somebody else's. The resistance was from my father's outside imposed energy, but as long as I come from within, then I can start to integrate my own and start to open up that assertive energy flow. That's what works for me. I'm much better than I used to be. This analysis was done some years back. I think I've probably integrated some of that assertive energy by now. This next grouping is called the harmonic groups, and there's another three classifications called the optimists, the pessimists, and the competents. And it's how each group keeps the balance, so to speak. This is also the work of Don Riso and Russ Hudson, this particular harmonic groups. I forgot to put it, I don't know if I put it on your slide or not, but I should put it on the bottom of this slide. These are, the optimists are the people who idealize things. They always look on the bright side of the street, so to speak. And the 7 idealizes situations. Oh boy, what can we do next? Must be loads of fun to have out there today. It's a new day. What are we going to do? The 9 idealizes others. They refuse to see others' faults. I have this brother who I'm having an issue with now. He's my oldest, and he's always idealizes his wife to a fault. And I mean, this woman has some control problems, real major ones. He refuses to see them. Just refuses. And that's exactly what the 9 does. We tend to not want to look at people's flaws, and we'll blame ourselves instead. It's my fault. It's all my fault, even when it's not. And that's why 9 has to be careful that we don't start putting ourselves in the hole, because that's self-effacing is what 9s are very good at. Very humble, maybe modest, yes, but modesty to a fault, humiliation is not a good thing. And 2 idealizes the self. Oh, look at all you've done for you. I'm so good. I'm such a martyr. I've done so much good for you.
That's on our best days, and mostly when we say we didn't do enough.
Well, that's what I mean. It's a what do I call it? Polarized, right? you're either on the prideful side, oh, I'm so good, I've done so many great things for people today, or the opposite, which is like, oh, I'm so selfish, I've never done enough, you know. But that polarization, see what I'm talking about? That's what we get caught in the 9 different types. Each one has a different polarization like that. Yeah. The carrots and whips.
Well, that's where spirituality comes in, though. You're doing for others, not for yourself, but for other reasons. Then you don't get into that.
Altruism, right?
It's like it's
From your
not,
heart.
It's not really like something.
Yeah, just out of your own joy. But remember to do as much for yourself. You're a person too. You know. It's very easy to get caught up in that, you know. And I know because my mate is into has a lot of that too. She's always thinking about me, and then you know, you kind of when somebody does that all the time, you know, you get so used to it, you tend to forget. You know, and it's not like you intend to, but it happens so frequently that it just becomes like, you know, the mailman. You don't even know when he comes because it's a routine, you know. So George Harrison had a line in the song, "Isn't it a pity? You know, isn't it a pity? Isn't it a shame how we take each other's?" One of the lines says, "How we take each other's love without thinking anymore." You know, and that's what happens. You know, we become kind of so used to it that we don't stop to appreciate things. Then the 2 will get resentful and say, "After all I've done for you, you don't appreciate anything." You know. And the next group is the pessimists. These are types 4, 6, and 8. And they tend to have that negative imagination. They tend to project negatively. So the 4 is kind of melancholy and feels kind of alone. So they withdraw and fantasize. Number 6 kind of believes they're kind of vulnerable, so they defend or protect themselves. And you see how the projection is a negative bias on all 3 of these? The 8 asserts because they don't want anybody in. You know, nobody's coming into my castle. I'm going to make sure I win this battle because nobody's getting in here. So, you know, there's this predisposition to think that, no, so they have a negative bias. The last group in the harmonics group is called the competence. And we have a lot of this in our society. Improving, succeeding, and solving. If that isn't